Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be.
Well, happy Tuesday to my beautiful coffee beans. Come on in. We've got a lot to cover with the Nancy Guthrie case. Come on in, get yourself a beverage, and relax for a little while.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Guys, we have urgent updated information. The neighbor speaks, and she has a lot to say. Guys, Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother that was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. And now we're learning some more details about the case. Check this out.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we've been covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother that was snatched out of the sanctity of her home from her private bed and taken away. We have no idea where Nancy Guthrie is today, and while her son-in-law and daughter, Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni, came under heavy scrutiny for her disappearance, we've learned that they've both been cleared, along with the other siblings, Savannah and Cameron, and of course their spouses. We learned around February 10th or so, I don't remember the exact date or time, when the masked gunman was released to the world for us to see. And we knew right then and there that couldn't have been Annie and that couldn't have been Tommaso. What we've learned from there has been anything short of illogical of a story. What happened to Nancy Guthrie? We don't know. We have no earthly idea where this 84-year-old woman is, whether she's dead or alive, but it is presumed that she is deceased. This is a horrible case. This rips through the community like a blade, because who in the world would do this in such a safe community? It appears Nancy Guthrie was targeted, but why? Many are starting to think possibly elder abuse. This is too wild for me. She had a lot of contact with her family. I think that that can be eliminated just by the fact that she had such a great relationship with Annie, Tommaso, and their family, and was there regularly. There's just a lot of things that are going on in this case that just blows my mind. I feel like this case should have been solved, and I'm starting to feel more and more that Luke Daly may have been involved. I'm not going to accuse anybody on this show until I know for a fact in my mind, body, and soul, and I don't. But I have to say, the hand, and I will keep coming back to the hand, it bothers me a lot to have people identify a hurt right hand and visibly see a hurt right hand on somebody that underwent a federal warrant. I'm angry with this case because everything I hear about this area, these people should have been safe. People have lived here for decades and never once had a crime, left their doors unlocked. This has ruined the fabric of that community, the sanctity, the safety, all for what? We still don't know. And it angers me that we're not helping locate a vehicle of interest at this point, all these weeks into this case. We have no idea how she was transported out of that home. And I cannot believe that to be true. Where is Nancy Guthrie? And why does it seem like nobody cares? And of course, we have the neighbor. The neighbor is now coming out and speaking about what she knows or has learned or what she saw leading up to this disappearance. It's quite shocking. It kind of brings us back to why January 11th is so important. According to this neighbor, she did see somebody ultra suspicious scoping out the daytime neighborhood, wearing a hat, down low. She can't determine who the person is, but knows that he didn't belong in the neighborhood. We're going to be breaking down this case of the Nancy Guthrie saga and figuring out what truly transpired. But the more information we get from anybody related to this case, the further for me it feels that this was a robbery gone wrong. This kind of breaks down to being something that we haven't seen before. We don't know what we're looking at, and right now law enforcement's not giving us a whole lot to go on. We don't even have a vehicle that transported Nancy, even though we know a vehicle had to have been used. How many vehicles could have been around that night? A neighbor down the road calculated about 12 vehicles past their camera. But was one of those the assailant? Did they have Nancy in the car? Where did they take Nancy, and why did they hit that house? It seems like this is more of an organized, targeted crime than a random burglary or robbery gone wrong. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. Well, That's for you. So I hope you guys are doing well this Tuesday. As many of you, which I'm kind of really thankful I did not go live last night and that other people did. I was able to watch, I was able to pray, I was able to cry, I was able to slobber and, be all around disgusting without everybody in the world seeing me completely, utterly disgusting. It was beautiful. I'm glad so many people came together across the true crime community to honor Cole and pray over him for healing and stuff like that. Like it was a beautiful sight. I hope everybody got to experience. For those that do pray, for those that are, we realize that not everybody's, everybody has the right to choose to pray. And so we respect that right here. I hope that everybody gets God in their life. But for those that would like to be more spiritual than godly, then, we accept you for who you are. This is going to be, we're covering the case, obviously, the intro coming in, Nancy Guthrie. Sorry there was no music. I was running out of time. I got that uploaded like literally when I went live. I had just uploaded that as I went live. So we were pretty much cutting to the wire. For those that are here, we've got 3 different sets of cards this morning. So if you guys would like to participate, 5 cards for $5. I wanted to read these for you because this one actually has options. So if you want 5 cards and you're feeling stuck, sad, you need some self-love, you feel anxious, need motivation or confidence, you need to identify that you want the affirmation deck and which deck you want, because there's 6 different decks in here. So if you want to get you want something to uplift you, like I said, I felt like the having all the cards was it was too much. So I'm breaking these down for different cards, different cards, different days. This is a new deck we haven't done yet. And I'm interested in this one. I've done some test runs on this one. I kind of like some of the cards that come out. So thought I'd throw that out to you. And then, of course, we've got Crush Your Goals, Crush Your Goal cards. So these are the options for today. You got these kind of inspiration cards, Crush Your Goal, and then, of course, an affirmation deck if you just need something, if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling, just let me know how you're feeling, and we'll throw something out of the affirmation deck. I do know that Melanie gets one. I think we're going to try you out of the new deck because I like some of the stuff that came out of the new deck, and I think this will be interesting for you. So I appreciate you, and we'll do 5 here in just a second when we get to that. We're going to be covering this interview with this neighbor. This neighbor had a lot to say, some interesting points. I'm not going to play the whole interview today, just because Brian Enton dropped it. We do respect other creators' content on here. We utilize their content under fair use, but that's got limitations on it as well. And I think that the little bit that I need from this is going to be, at the kind of the beginning of her interview is what we're really going to be working on and kind of building on today, because I had an opportunity to talk to one of our audience members, and I think this might bode in with our audience member and actually might tie Luke into it as well, potentially, depending on how much assumption we throw in here. But we do know that this case has defied logic. This case has stumped investigators. This case has stumped the true crime community in such a way. So good morning, Melanie. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. I am present. I'm right here. Hello, y'all. Hello. We've got good morning, fam, from Bluegrass. It's nice to see you, Bluegrass. Missy Motormouth, I think I jinxed her. If you guys know anything about me, okay, I love to cook, okay? And I love to get sidetracked with true crime stuff. So I was, I'm starting to, this is what happened. I started seeing how AI was developing the thumbnails, okay? AI for me drives me nuts sometimes because I'll type it in there and have everything and they'll screw up the thumbnail. Like the text will be off the page or something like that. And I'm just like, so I started getting the vibe of how AI was doing the thumbnails. And I started saying, you know what, let me try to start recreating some of these thumbnails. It's a lot easier for me to recreate a thumbnail without having to keep going back and having alterations done to the thumbnail on AI. No matter how I work it, even the paid programs, it's like I am major. I don't have time. Okay, I don't have time to wait. So I had to start creating my own. And so I was creating thumbnails for this week, and I forgot I had eggs on my stove, and I had eggs on high because that's what I do. I turn it on high for about 20 minutes until it has a rolling boil, and then I turn it off and let it sit for another 10 minutes. Then I cool it, throw the ice in it, cool it, and peel the eggs. I usually have almost perfectly peeled eggs doing it that way. And so I came in here and I forgot to set my timer on my phone, which I always, do for just about everything to keep me on track throughout the day, especially when I'm doing multitasking and I need to monitor time. I use my timer, on my phone and my alarms and stuff like that to keep me focused during the day. Well, I forgot to set it. I came in here and started working on thumbnails. And the water boiled out of the pot, and I heard this pop, and I thought it must have been Delilah. Well, Delilah comes in here. She's just looking at me. By that time, I hear another pop. She's looking at me. She's looking behind her. She's looking at me. Like, what the hell is that? So I finally get up because I realize it's not Delilah. I go in there, and I've got egg. The egg shot all over. I had 4 eggs in that pan. I was just going to make me a little, just a little helping of some egg salad, right? Nothing major. Just something simple. And I walk in there and I've ended up having to scrub my kitchen because I had exploded egg. 4 eggs exploded all over my kitchen. And you're talking about shell flying clear across into the living room. It exploded the eggs. So if you ever want to know what happens to eggs when they get too hot, well, they go kaboom. Okay? And so anyway, Missy Motormouth apparently did the same thing after I jinxed her. Good morning, Keith. You're up early this morning. Welcome, my love. Welcome. And there it is, right there. So I think we all had kind of some experience. I think I jinxed her. I caught it before any evidence of food fight. She saved her eggs. I didn't save my eggs. My eggs were goners. I actually think my pot is too. I'm going to try to scrub my pot. I have just to acknowledge that I absolutely probably need some new pots and pans at this point. That's the second pan I burnt, but I didn't burn a hole in it. So it could have been a lot worse. If it wasn't for the exploding eggs, I might have had to throw out my pan. Faye, it's nice to see you. Lady Justice, it's nice to see you. Did I say hi to you, Erica, or did I just put your Erica name up here and just say, I didn't need to say hi to you. Well, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you guys. Come on in. We only got so far 1 deck of cards that we're going to do. Unicorn, Indiana, it's nice to see you. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Mike, Libby, Denise, hello, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. Michelle. I saw your comment. Yeah, I was kind of slobbering. That's why I chose not to go live. I was thinking at it, because I'm like, we need to celebrate and pray and be happy and stuff like that. But, am I going to be able to? I guess is the question. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to because I'm really am a softie inside. I know people don't see it. You guys see me come in here with this rock solid exterior that's ready to take on the world and stuff like that. But like I said, past that hard exteriors and ooey gooey inners, and I'm very emotional when it comes to matters of the heart. So when it comes to matters of the heart, people and stuff like that, I do wear my heart on my sleeve. That's why I don't really have. I've limited my circle because of the feelings. I don't like feelings. I don't like feelings. I don't know why. I don't like feelings. Melanie says, happy Tuesday, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. I hope everyone has a good day. Much love to you, BHB. Prayers to whoever needs them. Thank you so much. She is my prayer warrior. It's nice to see you. Vicky, it's nice to see you. Donna, good morning. Good morning. Melanie, I think we just said hi. Trust the process. Amber, it just dropped up on me too far. Oh, good gracious. We got a lot. I don't know how the hell I missed all these. It just dropped down on me. Sorry, guys. I don't know where. I guess we have a lot more people in here than I thought we did. Freeside, it's nice to see you. No filter. The other Sharon, it's nice to see you. Rima's, Philly, Plant Lady, Teresa, good morning, guys. Alicia. Casey, it's nice to see you. Laura, good morning. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody, guys, because I know you guys come here, it's not like you come here just to hear me say hi, but I like to say hi to each of you. You guys are taking your time for me. DeBoss, Barbara, it's nice to see you. Stereo, it's nice to see you. Good morning, love. I hope you're having a great day. Justin, thank you. I want to give you a big shout out. Thank you to you and Josh. You guys did a great job last night, talking and keeping everybody, and having something to show before the church service started. So thank you for that. And I'm glad you guys did it, because I was able to do what I needed to do behind your screens. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. Who else do we have? Mike, did I say good morning to you? I think I did, but just in case I did. Callie Nurse, it's nice to see you. Lori, Rebecca, Veronica, good morning. Blessed Happy Nana, it's nice to have you as well. Dina, hello, good morning. Did I say hi to Lisa? I gotta check on Lisa. Good gracious. Be kind to everyone. It's nice to see you. Alba, it's nice to see you. Because I keep forgetting. I don't know what it is. We were always synced, and then all of a sudden it's like I miss everything now. I think it's because my mind's just going 1,000 different directions right now, I think is why. Mr. Dunham, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Did I miss Love and Mrs.? It's nice to see you. Georgia, Rob, it's nice to have you. Philly, good morning. Scriptula, hopefully I said that right. I know the suspect. Ooh, who do you know? Tell me. We want the tea. We want the tea. We want the tea. I know the suspect. Which suspect? I think there are multiple. I think if we piece all this stuff together, like the box, the lack of internet, I think if we piece some of this stuff together, we can see that this looks like it is a ring of people. Okay, it seems to me that there's more than one person affiliated or associated with this. I definitely need prayers, hoping to buy my first semi-truck. Oh, you're one of our big rigs. Well, we definitely pray for you. We definitely pray for you. We hope you get that. That would be amazing. We love good things happening to people. So we're definitely going to put you in our prayers for good. That would be a positive thing. Usually everything on this channel is pretty negative. So if we can have something that's super, super positive to hope and pray for, we are definitely going to pray for you, Rob. Good gracious. Rob. I can't even say your name today. And Juice Davis, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Mammy, it's nice to see you. If you guys notice, everybody in the chat, this is your coffee club family. I hope everybody, nope, I'm paid off. I don't know what that's about. You're paid off for what? You want to, we take 10%. I'm just saying, show me, Mama needs new shoes. Mama needs new shoes. Okay, guys, let's get into this. So, we have the neighbor that speaks, and it's really taking us back to that January 11th time frame. And I think what we can, and this is interesting, I'm not going to, share people's names when they call me and tell me things confidentially or want to perk my curiosity. If they want to expose themselves, they're more than welcome. But here, when I have confidential conversations, I have confidential conversations. So we did have a conversation with somebody that kind of brought this perspective up, and I've been telling you guys for a couple days now that we're going to be looking at potentially a new perspective. So when this neighbor, came up and started speaking to Brian Enton. By the way, whoever you neighbor are, I'm sure we're going to get your name. Thank you for speaking up. We really do appreciate a little bit of insight in this community. And, Brian Enton is always such a great ginger person. I personally like Brian Enton on a personal level. So, it makes it easy to work with him on a professional level too. But we were hearing about this. We first started hearing about this ring from, I think it was Jennifer Coffindaffer. I think she started talking about potentially the Chilean robbery or burglary ring that was going on. And then we were having a conversation, and somebody had sent us a photo of these two guys at this gym event. And gym, not JYM, it's GYM, it's GEM, right? Gems, like jewelry, like gold and stuff like that. And we had learned that there was a gold bar stolen from a jewelry store by two individuals. And so people were wondering, is this possible that there's this robbery ring that's targeting high profile people? And we know of things like this happening because we've had, football stars, musicians that have multiple houses around this country, and we find out one of their houses have been burglarized. Those are typically, which we are unaware of, are typically high. These are burglary rings that are going undetected. They're not going undetected. Obviously, somebody's losing something. Reports are being made, so we know the robbery took place. But they're going unarrested. Is this, and the reason why I'm asking is this something like that? Because we're going to get into this interview with this neighbor. Again, this is a shout out to Brian Inton. We're not going to show the whole video. If you guys want the ending of it, you're going to have to go and watch it yourself. I do that out of respect for content creators that I like. There's some content creators I don't like, so I will work whatever I need to work to make sure they can't hit me. But yeah, NFL players, Philly, exactly. Yeah, so we do have this, we do have some type of rings that go around this country robbing people. It always made me wonder, have we ever, those, you guys might think I'm crazy, okay? And this is just popping in my head, but I've always wondered. Like those Circus Soleil events that they go all over the country, like the circuses, all the different types of circuses, whether it's an Italian circus or what kind of circus it is. I've always wondered, have they ever compared some of these high profile robberies to some of those large events that come into town? Because, you're looking for somebody that is, that blends, right? And you're looking for somebody that, it's kind of like, it's not somebody from the community. It's like a hit it and quit it. I've always wondered that because it seems like, whenever I go to the fairs or circuses or something, there's some shady people they have employed. I'm sorry. The carnies, they're weird folks. But they've got a lot of different talents that we don't think about. Would they be able to scale walls, 3 stories and break into? Yeah, they'd be the ones. I'm not saying anything. If you're a carny, we love going and watching you guys. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I'm really not. We have a semi-truck driver in here, a couple of them, it sounds like. I think that there's a semi-truck driver serial killer, but I don't think you're it unless you're here watching to see if I locate you. I don't know. But anyways, getting back to this. So we believe that there might be multiple people. And I think this kind of eliminates the Tommaso Annie possibility or their bandmate because of this. But I don't know if it really eliminates Luke, because Luke has kind of tentacles in this area. Not that he's associated with any robbery ring, but he's got the drug history. His girlfriend or past girlfriend's been arrested multiple times for, different types of crimes, including substances and probably some thefts. I didn't look into her very well, but would he be able to be associated with some other criminals that could manipulate or be manipulated into doing this, or maybe they all be okay with it? Yeah, I do believe that it could be. Could he be affiliated with the people that stole the gold bar? We don't know. We don't know who those people are, but what we do know is that it appears that whoever was out that front door was nonchalant and unprofessional, but was confident enough to move about freely, thinking that they were not going to be arrested right there and then from somebody inside that house calling. And I never understood that. And maybe that has to do with the fact that utility box was damaged down the road, but it also could be because we're hearing that there is possibility of a signal jammer. And we look up basic signal jammers, and basic signal jammers jam about 100 feet, not very far. So if you have a few houses within 100 feet, yeah, you'll be jamming up 3 houses or 4 houses, whoever's in that 100-foot radius. But in here, their lots are about 100 foot from one side to the other. So if they did have a jammer, would it have, maybe that's what made them look at that utility box, because something triggered something. We learned that they were looking at this this utility box, but before that somebody had lost internet during the time of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, and then we're finding out that a utility box was tampered with, and we're learning that the jammer couldn't have reached more than 100 feet. So the question would be, did something happen inside the house, and maybe a lone person, the suspect that went inside the house, when he came outside decided to destroy that, hoping that that would destroy any other additional potential evidence, or his ability to leave undisclosed? Maybe there was no jammer at all, So we're looking at all of this, but no matter how we look at this, it really is starting to paint a picture that maybe multiple people could have been involved in this situation. But other than that, we're not, and we're still not dismissing we did see I think a blue Malibu pass by a camera, and although we have a sheriff that tells us this blue Malibu with a screaming lady in it was a domestic violence, how isn't it kind of funny that it appears that right before the white cube or whatever, that boxy looking vehicle that drove by, we're hearing that a blue car was driving driving by as well. And is that a blue Malibu? And if so, what are the likelihood that a blue Malibu would be driving by a camera, and we have a blue Malibu associated with a woman screaming out it? It's about the statistics on what is it, what would it be to have somebody observe a person having a right hand injury on a camera with a masked gunman assailant, and then have somebody screaming from the rooftop that they're innocent from this crime with a right injured hand. So, I mean, what are the probabilities of those two things happening? We've got to stop and pause, because we're seeing multiple cars pass through there, and I don't want to dismiss that, because again, we did have that conversation with one of our audience members here, but this is starting to feel more like a targeted ring, and now we have to understand why. Yes, the blue Malibu or gray, they said, yeah, but we also have something that appears to be that type of car potentially passing that 2.5, if I'm not mistaken, 2.5 mile camera, the camera miles away. So that's just all the things that I want you guys to keep in the back of your mind while you're processing all of this information from this neighbor, because we are going to go ahead and get started into this neighbor. And it looks like I'm about 8 minutes in on this. So we're going to kind of start it back at the beginning where he's talking to her. Yeah, I think we're going to start it back. Hold on a second. No. One more. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Which side do I need to be on? Let's look. Yeah, I think the right side will be good. I think the right side will be good. So as you see, this is Brian Enton. If you guys have not gone over to his channel, please consider going over to his channel. I'm going to throw his channel in here. We're not going to watch this whole thing. We will look at the ending part of this. We're only going to be discussing like the first 8 minutes of this 28-minute live. So I definitely recommend, don't do it right now because we're having a talking point on it, but click on that link and bookmark it, so after you're done with this live, you can go back and watch the full interview, which is what I want you to do. I want you to be knowledgeable on everything this lady says. But we're going to be focusing just on that morning. There's a few things that she says in this first 8 minutes of this show that kind of give us pause as to what happened and why law enforcement truly are looking back to that January 11th timeline. This feels more targeted, premeditated, and it appears, in my opinion, that more people would have to be involved just by what we're seeing and looking at here. And so that is super important. But before we start, I promised 5 cards for Melanie. I didn't forget you. And these are from our new cards. I'm really interested in these because these things are going to be, they have things on both sides of them. They do have things on both sides of them. So I think I'll read both sides of them. Maybe I'll need to do only 3 cards instead of 5 because it's turned in. Okay, I don't know which side you're supposed to be on. So it's only with gratitude that life becomes rich. Oh, I love that. The most wasted of all days is one without laughter. Tell me these aren't good. I love these already. Let the winds of enthusiasm sweep through you. Live today with gusto. See, I love these. Have confidence that if you have done a little thing well, you can do a bigger thing well too. I love that. There are many wonderful things that will never be done if you do not do them. Life gives us choices. You either grab on with both hands and go for it, or you sit on the sidelines. So get your butts up and get into action. These are action cards. I love these cards. We're going to call these action cards. We're going to call these action cards. The time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. Oh, I want you guys to hear that again. Everybody needs to pay attention to this. The time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. I love that. That's the first time I heard it like that. You have within your right now, you have within you right now everything you need to deal with whatever the world can throw at you. I love those. Those were really good. Those were really good. I like these. I don't know why I miss these. I guess because they're standing up. They're not like in a deck. They're kind of in this holder. And so when I'm looking for the decks, I grab the decks and not the holder. And this one, and I like, wait a minute, these are other cards. And I forgot about these. These came to us by Miss Robin. Miss Robin did those action cards. I love these. I love these. Those were great. Those were great. Well, way to go, Melanie. Way to go. We got to break into it, and I loved them. I absolutely loved them. So if you guys want action cards, please let me know. If you guys are feeling a little funky, I think the affirmation cards are. Just let me know if you're feeling stuck, sad, if you need some self-love, if you're anxious, need motivation, need some confidence. Just let me know what you need, and we'll try to fix you up before you get out of here for the day. All right, guys. So now we're back to the interview with the neighbor. What a lovely lady. This is a lady that has lived in this community. Her mother lives not far from her, so she's lived in this community for something like 4 decades. Her sister lives right around the corner from her, and it sounds like a lot of the children from this community that are born in this community end up going to Phoenix because she has a child that's also in Phoenix. And we just heard about Mary and Matthew being in Phoenix, which brings us back to who the hell was in the house? Who was in the house with Mary when Luke was being detained at Culver's? Because we heard Mary was the only person that was allowed to go to her neighbors. It wasn't Mary and the boy that she was with, or the individual, the male that she was with. It sounded like that male was also detained. So, and we also heard about another individual being detained. Like, we heard there was 4 people detained. We've only been talking about 3 people. And we thought the third person was Matthew. We thought Matthew was with his mother. And we're coming to find out, no, it couldn't have been Matthew because Matthew lives in Phoenix with his wife and kids. And she ended up leaving and going to Phoenix to stay with her son while this died down. So who was with Mary when they were getting raided? You know, there was another male individual. Her mother was older than Nancy. Yeah, a few years older. And she also lives independently in her own home. So let's get started on here. I don't want to put any more words in here. I want you guys to hear her words, and then we'll further discuss.
Letting us park in your driveway when we got moved out. That was very nice of you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What has it been like the last, 30 plus days?
It's been crazy and sad and, kind of scary for a lot of the people that live around here because, normally this is a quiet, sleepy neighborhood. So we don't have a lot of people here or incidences of anything.
So you knew Nancy?
Yes, so I'd met Nancy numerous times in the neighborhood from just being here, and I also went to high school with her kids. And so a very good friend of mine, super close with Nancy, and we used to walk in the neighborhood, and she would be at parties and things.
Oh, Brian is a major animal lover, and he loves dogs. You got to remember, he's been away from his pooch. He's got a pooch too. He loves his dog. And so, I think the reason why somebody said, yeah, I think the reason why he's rubbing, I think he misses his dog. I really do. I think he loves his dog. His dog's been through everything with him. So just a little food for thought.
Things like that. So, yes.
She seems like a wonderful woman.
Lovely lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, terribly lovely lady, yeah.
Did people know that she was Savannah's mom?
I don't know. It was never really talked about. She was just Nancy, so nobody around here really thought anything of it, or at least we never discussed it.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've known that for, I've known that for
Just for clarification, Be Kind, no, I don't think that is accurate, because what we learned when this happened, because this happened on Friday the 13th, February 13th, they executed a search warrant on the home. They took a guy and a woman out of the home. Also, around the corner from the home, they stopped a Range Rover, and they detained the person in the Range Rover. The person in the Range Rover was Luke Daly. Okay, there was somebody at the house. There was two individuals at the house. One that we now know is mom, and we don't know who the other male individual was in the house. We assumed it was Matthew, but based upon Mary's interview that we reviewed yesterday, the way she talked about Matthew and leaving to go to Matthew's in Phoenix to stay with him while this died down, it implied that he wasn't there with her, because we thought he was the younger sibling living at home with mom. We had no idea he had children. We had no idea he was married, and we had no idea he was living in Phoenix. We thought he was living at home as a single dude with his mommy, like his brother is, his older brother, Luke. And coming to find out that that's not the case. So who was in the house with Mary? There was 3 people detained that night, 2 males and 1 female. The female ended up going over to the neighbors. We learned the female was Mary. Mom had nothing to do with it. She didn't have a detainment. Everybody keeps saying that she was detained. She was not detained. They just had to remove her from the house. They couldn't have her in the house, so they sat her in the SWAT vehicle so she could stay cool because she was elderly. And then they talked to the neighbor about seeing if she could come over to their house so she didn't have to feel, so interrogated by being in a SWAT vehicle for 6 hours. And so the neighbors agreed to let her come over there because she wasn't part of the detainment. She didn't have a detainer on her. So that makes me wonder, who was the other male? Did he have a detainer on him? And who is he? And why is he there? Because it sounds like it should only be her and Luke living in that house, not her, Luke, and another male. But again, I don't know. It's just questions that we have. But I wouldn't assume that Luke was the one, because we see Luke around the corner at the Culvers in the Range Rover. So the guy that was pulled out of that house couldn't have possibly been Luke. It had to have been somebody else. And I don't think it was Matthew, because Matthew lives in Phoenix. And if Matthew was going to visit his mother, you would assume that he would bring his wife and or the children. Maybe if he couldn't bring his wife, maybe he would have brought the children to get the children out of his wife's hair. But, having a son go over to his mom's house alone, I mean, yeah, that does happen occasionally. But typically, if you're an hour and a half to 2 hours away, you bring the family. Just, play the tape through in your own family and see what makes sense. Would that make sense, That's all I can say. I don't know who was in that house. If it was Matthew, then it's Matthew, but it doesn't sound like it was.
For a long time. I knew that Nancy lived there, yeah.
But people on the outside didn't seem to know, really.
Not anybody that I ever talked to about it. Yeah. No, yeah.
Did you know Savannah at all?
I did a bit in high school, but not super well since, high school. Because I'm considerably older than, well, not considerably, but I'm about 3 or 4 years older than Savannah. I knew her brother better.
Was there anything strange in the neighborhood you noticed, like before this happened?
I did. About 2 weeks before, it was.
This is where we're going to start getting into why we kind of felt this was premeditated, but this is more information. So the premeditation is starting to go from opinion or theory into a fact, you see, because the more you have that corroborate that, the more it's no longer somebody's opinion, the more it starts becoming a fact. We have enough verifiable information to derive to the conclusion that this was premeditated or planned. And I think that what we're doing here is that the more that we hear these things and we hear from different residents and different people, I feel the more we're conclusively determining that it was a premeditated or planned kidnapping, abduction, or targeted event. Veronica, why, thank you. Which one do you want, my love? Which one do you want? Thank you for that. Do you want Crush Your Goals? Do you want the affirmation deck? And if you want the affirmation deck, you need to let me know if you're stuck, sad, need self-love, anxious, motivation, or confidence, or need confidence. Hit that thumb up. Maybe the mom was messing up. Message retract. Sorry. I have to, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I got to approve yours, but I got to approve yours for some reason, Mike. Please hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate that. Which one do you want? We got this, and this. I can do the new ones. We can do the affirmation deck, or we can do the Crush Your Goals deck. Which ones do you need? I got decks. I'm dealing some deck cards. Good morning, Debbie. It's nice to see you and everybody else that is coming in. Mama, it's good to see you. Waiting for Veronica Be Truly. I'm going to end up reading one. Maybe we'll do some self-love. I think everybody can use self-love. Let me open my affirmation deck if it's going to open for me. It looks like it's going to make me rip the top. I hate when these desks. Here we go. So which is which? Let's see what we got here. We need self-love. Veronica. I think self-love. Anxious. Where's our stuck? Confidence. Motivation. Self-love. Okay, we're going to do self-love. I think everybody can use some self-love. 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to do some self-love cards. Let's see what you got. And then we'll get back. My heart and mind are open to new adventures. Each day brings me closer to realizing my dreams. Ooh. My past experiences enrich my present journey. We always talk about that walk. My boundaries are a reflection of my self-love, and I am loved for who I am. If you know anything about affirmations, you need to tell yourself positive affirmations. So that's what we want to do. We want positive affirmations. So you want to tell yourself you are beautiful. Not I can be beautiful. I may be beautiful. You are beautiful. You are smart, right? You need to tell positive things. If you're looking for the future and looking for positive things, you need to mentally obtain it. Once you mentally obtain it, you can physically obtain it. So always remember that. All right, getting back to this. So now we're learning that there was something suspicious 2 weeks before Nancy disappeared. This is really going into our potential multiple people, conspiracy, concerted action, planned, premeditated, and now we believe this lady is deceased. So every single person involved in this has committed first-degree homicide. So if you're watching and you are part of this planning, You were the getaway driver. You moved anything. You destroyed evidence. I'd be making a deal because they're going to find you. And when they do, you're looking at a capital crime. You're looking at a first-degree homicide. Why? Because this was pre-planned. It doesn't make a hill of beans whether you meant for this lady to be deceased or not. If she's deceased, I'd be singing like a canary. I'd be singing like a canary. I'd be getting myself a deal. I'd be becoming a witness instead of a suspect. I would be singing. I would be singing. I would be singing. There is no code. I don't want to hear there's a street code. There's a street code. No, there isn't. There's a cover your ass code. There is, it's your ass or their ass. It's eat or be eaten. And trust me, everybody with that code understands that. And trust me, they would eat before they would ever be eaten. So you can take that code and shove it where the sun don't shine because it don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing. There's nothing respectful about being up in prison for something that you should not be up in prison for. Just saying. Lots of people could be out on these streets right now if not for that loyalty.
Have a picture window in my bathroom, and I see all the people walking by in the mornings, and I noticed this strange guy with his hat down really low. He was kind of hunched over, not in, walking or hiking gear. He was dressed in kind of street clothing. So I thought that was weird.
Street clothing.
That's not normal.
And it stood out to you?
Oh, yeah. I said something to my husband and my mother. So, yeah.
And how often has something like that happened where it stood out to you enough to say something?
Not often at all. I see the same people. They're people I know, my friends. Yeah, so no. I think once, maybe 12 years ago, I saw a strange guy.
Did you tell the police?
I did. I told the FBI the day after they came here, and I discussed that with them. So this is my window that I'm getting ready in the morning, and I saw him out there. So I couldn't make out his face, although his hat was way down.
So she doesn't really have, let's go back here. Let's see if we can go back to the right spot. There. So it appears you can see the road right here. So she probably could see somebody moving about and could probably see them right here, but that's not like the best. There's a lot blocking her view, so I can understand why she can't. You guys see that, right? So you can kind of understand why she can't make out the person's face. One, there's a lot of obstruction between that and good view. But it was enough. The question is, will Ellie find the perp? I know, Caitlin. I know. That's the problem. That's the problem. If this is El Mencho, the case is solved. I've been hearing about this El Mencho. The audience member that called into me also spoke of this El Mencho as well. I would like some more information on this El Mencho. If either one of you guys want to send me that information to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, I'd greatly appreciate it. Please break down how the rewards are broke down. I don't believe in them. Well, to be honest with you, my understanding is the only requirement for the $1 million from Nancy's family is the production of the mom. It doesn't, they just want the mom back, dead or alive. From my understanding, it's just like that. If you have information that will lead to Nancy Guthrie's body or her being, you get $1 million, no questions asked. That's my understanding of it. They want, and nothing, and that money is not to anybody unless Nancy is brought home. Nobody will get that $1 million unless Nancy is found and brought home. So you're talking about you have to have good knowledge. Not just good knowledge, but where is she? It's my understanding that they're even willing to give this to an anonymous person, and they have that broke down. I'll find out. Maybe we will, in case we do have somebody that's watching that could help this case. Maybe we should break that down. Maybe I'll get some information together. But there is a process because for your money, it's going to be cash. It's all you have to do is have your. Apparently, I've never called in a lead to the lead line, the anonymous lead line, but apparently you get a number. And that number is what gets you. And from what I hear, they have a third-party location that they actually take a bag of cash to. Not a check, nothing. A bag of cash. And you give them that number, and they hand you the cash. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. That's from everything that I've understood about this whole anonymous thing, because people have always been skeptical. How can we be anonymous? It's because you're known as a number, not as a name. There's no ties to that money, like where you have to have it downloaded to your bank account where they can identify you, or that you have to have a check where you cash, or a money order that you cash where you have to show identification on who you are. From my understanding, this is truly a bag of cash that you go and hand them your number and you pick it up. But again, you have to, the requirement for the $1 million is Nancy Guthrie. They want Nancy Guthrie home. So it's not for information to lead to the arrest. That is the money from the FBI. So the FBI has, I think, what is it, $100,000 or I think there's a $200,000 reward out there to lead to the individuals that will be prosecuted. So if you only have information about the suspects who did this, and you want to, you can collect $200,000 and something thousand, and the same anonymous stuff applies to that as well. But that's only for the arrested people. If you want the full cool $1.2 million, Nancy has to come home. Not alive. She just has to come home. So I think the reason why they put that caveat on there, and they're not, because they might feel that she might be deceased, and at this point they want her. They want their mother. And as a human being, I understand that. If I had the ability, if I had that type of money, I would be paying. If I didn't know where my mom was, I would be paying everything I have to find out where she is. But $1 million is big money. It's more money than most people will ever see in their lifetime. This is fuck you money. Okay, excuse my language, but that's what this is. This is, your loyalty means shit to me. I'm getting paid money. So whenever we get somebody with some balls and backbones that says, hey, I'm going to worry about my skin, not your skin, we need those people to step up. I don't care how with $1.2 million, you can move to anywhere you need to move. I'm sorry. You don't need to stay there. You don't need to be around those dirt bags. I would be taking the money and fleeing. That's what I would do. I'd tell all, take that cash and go. Okay. You can go set you and your family up in the safest place and never have to worry about crime again. Even if you're a part of it, you get a one free pass to change your life and to change your life forever. You can go from a zero to a hero real quick in this case. If you are a thug and know where this woman is, this is a great opportunity to get yourself out of that life. Just saying. Just saying. Some people gotta justify. Let me justify it for you. So we see this back here is the roadway. So you can kind of see it's quite a distance away. So even if she did have a picture perfect, clear view, she might be able to make up some characteristics. But with this obscured view, I can understand why she knew it was somebody suspicious. However, she couldn't really look at their face.
I saw him out there. So I couldn't make out his face, although his hat was way down. And I think I can open up this one too.
Okay.
See, since we have all this stuff going on, I haven't, and we have to have it all fixed.
Oh, that dog looks like his dog too.
I'm pretty.
No, does he have a retriever? I thought he had because that might be my best. Never mind.
This one is usually open as well. So you've got a pretty good view.
So Nancy's is up that way.
Okay, so that one's a better view.
And so you've got a pretty good view. And
there's the driveway.
He was walking down the road.
There's the road.
See people.
That one's better.
Oh, that's my friend Nora.
So she's got a better view right here. You can see a clear road, much less obscured than what was on this one. She seems like she had a lot of obscured things there. This side seems a little more wide open. So she would have been able to see somebody acting suspiciously. And this is one of the neighbors to Nancy Guthrie. So seeing somebody acting suspiciously 2 weeks before, and the fact that law enforcement asked her specifically about January 11th. January 11th seems to be a hot button. Is that Nancy's driveway? That's her driveway, but I don't know where her house. I don't know which neighbor this is. I don't know what her house is in conjunction with Nancy's house. We will get that information in good time. Hi, bad girl. It's nice to see you. Patricia, it's nice to see you. I pray Nancy is in Mexico and doing well. I mean, we hope so, because we know that they have medication to keep her alive, the type of medication that she needs. This was planned. Maybe they did plan for this. I personally don't know. This is just a horrible case for me, and it defies logic. And I just know that what we're looking at here, and I heard the pundits, robbery gone. I'm sorry. I know that they're professionals. They've went to college. They got PhDs in criminology and stuff. I've got an AA in paralegal studies. I mean, I look at these professionals and I try to, understand where they're coming from. But in this case, this whole robbery gone, it's never resonated with me. You guys know that I've tried to make it fit. I just don't like it. It doesn't work here. And I keep hearing over and over again people, putting this, pounding this through our head, like, I just don't get it. Because if it was a ring, why did they take her with them? We've had many people be robbed and burglarized and killed in their home. But which ones take the bodies with them? I mean, that's the hardest part about this whole case is the thing. It's almost like they had to prove it was her that they attacked. Like when you're dealing with like El Chapo and El Muncho and El Minto and El whatever Mexican cartel thugs, whenever you're dealing with them, and they have a hit, they need to bring you a finger, a head, or something like that, right? That's why I keep going back to this. Like, are we sure? Because we have. What do you think about? I don't think Tommaso has anything to do with it. I really don't. I never got on board with the son-in-law because I couldn't see anything in their background. I mean, a lot of people's like, oh, well, they have financial problems. Okay, well, prove it to me. Nobody can. Oh, he's got gambling debts. Okay, then prove it to me. They can't. Why? Because I've already went through their background. There's no bank. They just bought a house, $650,000 house, a year ago. That takes credit. If you can't pay your bills, you don't have good credit. Okay? They've had a studio that they've had for 20 years. People can't do that if they're struggling financially. So I don't know where all this financial stuff came up, and yeah, they might be teachers and stuff. The lady sold a book. She has a deceased father. We don't know what type of trust fund the father left them that they could access at 30 or 35 years old. It seems like their family was fairly well-to-do. We don't know their financial business, period. Okay? And the only insight that we have for people's financial business is their lawsuits. So typically, if they're mismanaging money, they have bankruptcies in their history, they have, credit cards suing them and stuff like that. So you see indicators that prove that they're having financial issues. You see indicators prove that they're bankrupt. You have indicators in their history that identify these things as part of public record. And they're not being seen with the brother. And I know that's, from what you probably heard, you wouldn't believe that, but I've looked into it, and everything that I've learned about them is these financial problems is living in somebody's brain, because on paper you're not seeing it. And financial problems are something that everybody can see publicly, especially people that know where to look, because you've got bankruptcies, you got debtors that are coming after you, taking you to court. When I went when I went through my divorce with my ex-husband, he didn't pay a credit card. I didn't know I was attached to this credit card for his business. It was a Home Depot card. He was a handyman. And of course I worked with the handyman, it was partly my business as well, but I was not on this card. This wasn't my card. This was the business card. And so I ended up getting sued for this card. You know, I didn't go anywhere because I wasn't the one that opened this card. I didn't pull the credit out. I just happened to be the wife. And so that case went away. I didn't owe them anything because it wasn't my card. They didn't even have any ability to prove that I had anything to do with that card. And so it got kicked out of the court. But it still shows that. So people can go and see that lawsuit and may attach that I've had financial problems, which in fairness, I have had financial problems in my history. And guess what? If you looked in my history, you would see in my history that I have had financial issues. I have been sued by creditors. I am divorced. And that's what prompted those lawsuits. Or lawsuit. It was only one. Only one person tried to sue me, and it's because I guess my ex-husband refused to pay for whatever reason. That was his only responsibility. That's part of our divorce plan, is that he had to pay for all of his, so it didn't affect my credit, which he didn't do, and it affected my credit. So that's kind of where we're at. But you see that, and I don't like telling people all my personal business, but if I have an experience, and it's not my fault, I don't mind, explaining how the situation happened. So, in an effort to explain why I don't believe the son-in-law is responsible here, that's the reason, because you would see clear indicators in their history that there is some financial issues related to them or attributed to them, and we're not seeing that. So I don't see any motive here. It seemed like Annie and Tommaso have been the only ones that stayed behind to take care of their aging mother. And it sounds like they incorporate the aging mother into every single event. They're close to her. They invite her over for dinner regularly. It sounds like Annie has a very, very close relationship with her mother. And if you actually looked at the history of it, it seems like Tommaso does too. I can't ever even, knowing everything that I've learned about these two people, it's hard for me to imagine that either one of them would be involved in trying to hurt their mother in reality. And I know you guys don't do the work, and you're probably hearing all this stuff from all these different content creators on TikTok and God knows where else. But and he was up until we saw the masked gunman. In all reality, Tommaso was the last person to see his mother-in-law alive. But as soon as we saw that masked gunman, we knew Tommaso was not the last person to see Nancy alive. It was that masked gunman. That masked gunman is who we need to find. And that, my friend, is not Tommaso. It's not his bandmate. And let me just tell you, the whole picture that was passed around with his bandmate and stuff, that was from 20 years previously. 20 years. Like, people could have like arthritis in 20 years. I just want to put this in perspective, okay? The people that these guys are, you guys see Tommaso. You guys saw Tommaso in that photo. He looked younger. He had dark jet black hair, mustache, and beard. You see Tommaso today, he's gray. Why? Because that was 20 years ago, okay? I am gray as gray get out. You guys can't even see my gray because the filter, the green screen, removing the green screen makes my hair look a little browner on here, but my hair is not this brown in real life. It is gray. I have a full head of gray hair, okay? Because I'm old. I'm older than dirt. I'm becoming older than dirt. I'm aging well, and I don't mind it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I may never dye my hair again. I don't know if I will or not. It's a thing. But, I'm aging, and so I'm embracing the age. That's not a 50-something-year-old person we saw on the outside of that house. And so you got to remember, even Dominique, that everybody wanted to try to blame, he's in his 50s or 60s now, okay? And we know damn well that person on the outside of that house is not in their 50s and 60s. They're not 50 to 60 years old. So we're looking at a much younger person on the outside of that house. And we're looking at this being, I don't know. I just don't like, see, this is the problem is I keep going back to Luke Daly now. I never did. Never talked about Luke Daly. But I've been going back to Luke Daly a lot here recently because of the hand. And could he be affiliated with other bad criminals? Yes, he could. Okay, and that's the bottom line. If he needed some help, does he have somebody to call? In my opinion, yes, he does. Would it be his mother or brother? I don't think so. I think it would be one of his junkie friends that has loyalty to them, that they party together and blah, 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 blah. It's going to be one of those people. And everybody has that crazy junkie that anybody out there in that lifestyle, they have that one crazy junkie that will help them with almost anything and keep the mouth shut for a little something, something. Just saying.
Or that's this person or that person. And I saw him and I was like, oh, that guy doesn't fit. So.
And this was sometime around January 11th.
Yes. So my birthday's January 8th. That's
Okay.
why I remember so well.
Okay.
So she has a milestone that allows her to remember this very clearly. So I believe her, because had it not been for that milestone, it's possible that she could be off. But because of that milestone, she knows that it happened 3 days later, or whatever the case may be, 4 days later, right? And I'd have to think it was within 3 days after her birth. So she knew it was in very close proximity to her birthday. So that's a milestone that people would very rarely forget. Faye says, Betty, in my opinion, Nancy put her house in mortgage for them to buy their house. Then there should be some mortgage papers. There should be some mortgage papers for that. And the mortgage papers are public information. I mean, I can show you guys land records, but mortgage documents, your land records, all this stuff, that is public information. So if she's got a mortgage and a new deed or a new title, because they have to incorporate the, it's a big process. You can't just refinance your home or whatever without creating a lot of documents being produced. You've got to file that with the courts because the mortgager has to be protected. You got to revise the mortgage docs, the deed, the title paperwork. Everything has to be redone. You're talking about appraisals. You're talking about a lot to do to refinance. Refinancing is not just going to the bank. Hey, bank, I need XYZ dollars. Okay. And from my understanding, I'm not sure she would need to remortgage her house to give her daughter money to help purchase a house, because it sounds to me like she has a trust or something that's deriving money from that she could have called in and said, hey, I need XYZ dollars for, right? Because cash out, if you don't find ways to spend it or invest it, you're still being taxed on it as if it's income, unless it's after tax. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this. And I know some people don't understand that, but I've been associated with mortgages, title companies, law firms, everything related to real estate. I sold real estate. I've got some experience in this, and so it's not just going to a bank and saying, hey, I need some money, let me just do this. So you've got a lot that goes into this. So I'm still not convinced. I mean, it could possibly, I'm not knocking you, Faye. It absolutely could be possible. I haven't looked into it. If we find some cash out refi mortgage paperwork, then yeah, around the time that they purchased, Annie and Tommaso purchased that home, then yeah. But I don't, even with that, what would make them, they have their home. If their mom gave them money for it, why would they hurt her now? Right? I don't see an 84-year-old woman going and beating her cane up against their head saying, give me my money back. So again, if they got the money, I'm not sure that would be the motivation, potentially. But again, we don't know. It could be. But I really trust that the law enforcement and the FBI said that this family was cleared, and we see this guy out there. And why? I think you need to go into yourself. I think everybody needs to kind of internalize a little bit. Why are you guys so asphyxiated with Tommaso? I can tell you exactly why you're so asphyxiated with Tommaso. It's because still in your mind, he was the last person that saw Nancy. You haven't changed your mindset yet. You haven't understood that there's a masked gunman at that door in the wee hours of morning. That is the last person that truly saw Nancy alive. That person. And so until you get your brain to take Tommaso away as being the last person to see her alive, well, he doesn't become this ultra suspicious person anymore. He became ultra suspicious for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. He was the last one to see her alive, and it took them an hour to call law enforcement. Both of those things are not true to this day. We learned that they didn't get to the house until almost noon, and as soon as they got to the house, they called law enforcement, and Tommaso is not the last person that saw her alive. This masked assailant saw her alive. That's why you guys are still asphyxiated on Tommaso. Because I played the tape through, and I keep listening to everybody, and everybody's still talking about him being the last person to see her alive, and we have to keep correcting everybody's mind and reminding them, no, he wasn't. The last person to see her alive was that masked gunman in the wee hours of morning. And we've done the polls here in this chat, and we've learned that even our audience acknowledges that that person on the outside of the house is not Tommaso. Oh, she might be working, honey. She might be working. She might be working. Cripple Creek Farm. The guy at the neighbor's house is a journalist. The guy at the neighbor's house is a journalist. I'm not sure which neighbor's house you need. If you're talking about Brian Enton, I know him personally, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And describe him again.
Well, he was in kind of street clothes, not shoes that you'd walk in, and he had a baseball hat really low, and he was kind of hunched over, and he was kind of looking around, and he just didn't fit. And he wasn't going terribly quickly like a normal person that's getting exercise. He was kind of going
He was scoping the area out.
slowly, and when he walked by this street, he really took a long look at it. I noticed that.
And it was enough for you to remember to tell your
Yeah.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It freaked me out. And I'm not one of those people to be super freaked out by that, but I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Those are the things that we talk about all the time that aren't like necessarily the most suspicious, but just out of place. That would be what I would consider an out of place person. I think what she's describing is an out of place person. And those are the reasons why I say on here that maybe something wasn't necessarily suspicious. It just didn't fit. It was out of place. And I do that. Tommaso is the mastermind. I'm not even convinced of that. I'm not even convinced of that. I don't think Tommaso had anything to do with this. And I've been, and you know what? When I first started this case, when I started diving into this case and looking at all the histories of all the people associated with Nancy, and if you guys go back to the original stuff that we did, you'll know that I've been very true to you guys in trying to explain this. So most of my audience wasn't completely shocked when Tommaso was cleared, because I never really got on board with it. Nobody could really, I mean, you have to have several things. You have to have opportunity, which he did have. He drove her home alone. But you have to have, also motivation to do it. There's no motivation here. The motivation that everybody's coming up with is a fallacy. You're assuming they're broke. You're assuming they're having financial problems. There's nothing that anybody has been able to produce, not one scintilla of legitimate factual information to support that there's any financial problems of Tommaso or Annie. And again, I even beg of you to look at their history. They just purchased a home. That takes credit to do, right? That takes credit to do. They purchased a home. How long have they had their previous home? I mean, we need to go through history. I think it's completely unfair to say, oh, they both have part-time jobs. They could never afford a $650,000 home. Right now, I can tell you that this home here that I'm living in is worth $250,000. Okay. If you looked at my finances, you'd probably say I can't afford a $250,000 home to live in. Okay. My home is fully paid off. Nobody helped me pay off my home. I paid off my home myself, but you have to understand, I purchased my home at around $30,000. Okay. My house is now worth You hear? So now I have what? Almost $200,000 worth of equity. You see how that worked? Because I purchased my home years ago, it was much cheaper when I purchased it. The market has skyrocketed in the last 15 years to the point that I have a lot of real cash value in this home. So we don't know that aspect of them. We don't know how much equity they had in their home, how much out of pocket they were, how much money they were able to get out of their home and apply toward their new home to reduce their monthly budget, to reduce that monthly mortgage payment. They may have had, $450,000 and another $100,000 in the bank account. They may have put $550,000 cash down on this home and only have a $100,000 mortgage. A $100,000 mortgage, I'm certain that anybody could afford a $100,000 mortgage. It's about $900 a month. And that's with property taxes and, under $1,000 a month. And that includes property taxes, insurance, and everything that you need with that. So I just want you guys to change your mindset, because we don't know these things. And a lot of assumptions are being spread around as fact in this case, and it's causing you to look at these people suspiciously. But if you just play the tape through, I think we'll all understand we do not know their finances, and we don't know whether they are broke or rich or have money. We don't know if Annie's got a trust fund somewhere that her father left her. We don't know. All we know is all these people are pretty wealthy. And the only people that chose to stay behind and take care of their mother is Annie and Tommaso. And I don't know where we started beating up families that did the right thing and took care of their aging family member. And that's what we're basically doing here, because we think Tommaso, even though he has been ultra cleared, not only by Pima County, but also by the FBI, and we're still looking at him. I think it's a waste of time, personally speaking. So I'm looking at other people that could be affiliated and associated. I did not believe that there was any possibility of Luke being culpable of this, and I haven't spoke about him until just recently, and that's because of the hand. And now we're finding out somebody is walking around this neighborhood and looking about after, and you got to remember, Luke's mom said what? She said something very, very, very specific. That Savannah has been in their house for years. They've been watching her for years. And they were unaware that she lived around the neighborhood. And I find that a little disingenuous, because if that were true and they didn't know that she lived there, then you're telling me that she watches her daily, which she acknowledged, yet she didn't see the episode on her in Tucson, or her being in the Catalina foothills, or her being in a well-known Mexican restaurant not too far. Those things don't make sense. And the fact that we have the attorney of Mary saying that she ran into this lady, and then she has an interview and says she's never met them at all. I don't like people that distance themselves from certain situations. And so these things are really starting to weigh on my shoulders when it comes to Nancy Guthrie. Is this the right one? Yes.
Years ago. So this is my conversation with Luke Daly's lawyer. We were out there, when all of this went down at Luke and Mary's house. And then it kind of blew over. What happened? I mean, can you walk us through what actually happened? Did they just was it a federal search warrant or?
Yes, it was a federal search warrant. It was executed on the house, and contemporaneous to that to Luke's vehicle. So he was stopped, ultimately pulled over in a Culver's.
So they acknowledge it's his vehicle, not his mom's vehicle. So it comes back to, how the hell does Luke Daly have enough money to afford a Range Rover? My house, I'm living with my mama, right? I don't have to pay no bills here. Well, I do. I have to pay the electric, the taxes, and all Oh shit, my taxes are due. I've got to pay a lot of bills around here too, right? I got to pay a lot of bills around here too. And, but I mean, as far as the mortgage, I don't have rent payment. I don't have mortgage payments, those types of things, but I do have electric, water, but it's basically like living with my mommy because I don't have a big mortgage payment to pay. And I couldn't afford a Range Rover. If I could have afforded a Range Rover, I probably wouldn't buy it because I don't want to spend the gasoline because that's the premium gas. But at the end of the day, how the hell does he, how is he able to afford a Range Rover? That looked like a newer Range Rover.